Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about economics. I recently did a video that seemed like it was pretty interesting to a lot of you guys from what I saw in the comments. In that video, I talked about a bunch of things, but the main thing I wanted to bring out in that video is when we're talking about imports, exports, if you're looking at just the dollar value, it seems that we're on the losing end of the import-export game, right? Because there's more money going out of the United States. But then when you factor in that, hey, money's basically worthless, right? It's something that is, I mean, we used to be able to say that it's just paper that's printed. They're not even printing it now. Now it's just electronically created in the computer. So when you take money out of import export, and let's say you go back to a bartering system, right? If you're bartering, right, and you're exchanging goods, do you want to be giving away more value or taking in more value? Okay, so what applies for the individual also applies on a national level. If you have a barter economy, right, and you're doing import export, it's kind of obvious that you would rather have less value going out and more value coming in. Okay, so you benefit by having more valuable things coming in. And the situation that we've developed over the last 50 or 60 years is basically we import more, right? And we export a little bit, and we make up for that difference with basically money that is electronically created on the computer that has no real value. Okay, so if you look at that in that perspective, it seems like we're actually winning the import-export game. Okay. The other thing I mentioned in the other video, just a quick recap, is when it comes to energy, same deal. Do you want to be importing energy, or do you want to be do you want to be importing energy or exporting energy? Okay. So if you're, and this is not just energy like oil and gas, but let's say even valuable things like steel or copper. Do you want it going out of your country, or you want it going into your country? And then when you take the fake money out of this equation and just look at the value of the substance of the items being traded, obviously you want oil coming into the country rather than going out. And the other important thing I mentioned in the last video was that when you're looking at especially like oil and what was it? Oil and coal, right? This oil and coal was created millions of years ago, okay? And whatever's in the earth now, okay, that's all there's ever going to be there, okay? Because what happened is, millions of years ago, the bacteria to break down the trees, right, and the dead animals had not developed yet. So when the trees died and the animals died, basically they didn't decompose. So you had like layers of trees building up on the ground that got compressed into the ground, and then slowly over millions of years, that basically ended up becoming coal and oil. That can't happen anymore, right? Because now if you look on these dead trees, there's funguses on them, right? If there's a corpse laying on the side of the road, right, from a roadkill, that starts decaying because the bacteria has developed to break that down. The modern day equivalent would be plastics, right? The bacteria has not evolved yet to basically dissolve and eat plastics. So the plastics basically just keep building up, right? So I imagine that over, at some point in the next couple million years, bacteria will probably evolve to start breaking down the plastics. Okay, so in this video, okay, what I want to talk about is how the United States taxes the world. Okay, now most of the trade in the world settles in U.S. dollars. Okay, so especially with all these import-export transactions, it all settles in U.S. dollars. So here's the thing: everybody's using our money. Now, important thing here is that there's more U.S. dollars outside of the U.S. versus inside of the U.S. Okay, very important for you guys to be aware of it. more U.S. dollars, and we're not talking paper here, right? Because only a tiny percentage of the total amount of U.S. dollars in circulation is actually in paper. Most of it's electronic. So there's more U.S. dollars outside the U.S. than inside the U.S. So let's now we mentioned in the prior videos that when the government prints money, right, they're basically they're diluting it, so the money is losing value. The buying power that you have for that your buying power, right, decreases. So anytime the government is decreasing your buying power, right, they're taxing you, right? So inflation is just another form of tax. It's a tax on top of the tax that you're already paying. Okay, so they tax you on everything. They tax you when you buy things. They tax you when you sell things. They tax you when you make money. They tax you when you spend money. They tax you when you're born. They tax you when you die. So they're constantly taxing you. But the biggest tax is the money dilution, right? Because now they're decreasing the buying power of your money, and that applies to everybody, regardless of whether you're rich or poor. But this is a worldwide tax, because remember, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, that there's more money outside the United States. So when they print money, they're not just taxing us, they're taxing the entire world, okay? So if you think about it for a second, how is it that the United States can have the largest military than the rest of the world combined? How is this possible, okay? Why weren't previous empires able to do this? Why wasn't the British Empire able to do this? Why wasn't the Ottoman Empire able to do this, right? The reason why they weren't able to have such a large military is because they were not able to tax the entire world, okay? Because almost all of the world's commerce, settles in U.S. dollars, right? They're able to tax everyone everywhere, right? Even if they're not trading U.S. dollars, the goods that they're buying, all the imported stuff that came in, the trucks they might be using locally, at some point that all that those transactions happened in U.S. dollars. So the United States is able to tax everyone in the world, okay, through money dilution, okay, which is ingenious, right? It's ingenious. The only problem that I really have with this is that we are being double taxed, okay? Because if they're gonna tax us, damn, where does snow come from? It's like an April 1st, damn. Thought we were in the spring. But if they're gonna tax us through money dilution, fine, I accept that, all right? If that's how it's gonna be, they're gonna keep printing money as a form of tax, is fine. But there's no reason to tax us again for everything else that they tax us on, for the income tax and for the sales tax and for all the the death taxes. There's no reason to double tax us, okay? Now the problem that I also see developing is that the United States has become very abusive in its tax, okay? So the worldwide tax that the United States imposes on everybody through money dilution, okay, is most effective when people, other countries, other governments, other businesses around the world don't realize that it's happening, okay? When we're at the point that they can see the inflation, that they know that inflation is happening, these are smart businessmen, right? They know all the stuff that I know, right? They start realizing that, hey, doing business in U.S. dollars is not necessarily to our benefit. They don't mind it so much when the tax is small, right? Where they can barely feel the inflation, right? That's what, inflation can be a very useful tool. It's kind of like if you're cheating, right? If you're cheating a little bit and you can get away with it, you benefit from it. If you're cheating a lot so that everybody knows that you're cheating, you can't get away with it anymore. So I think that's where the United States is right now with its cheating. It is cheating to the point that everybody knows that they're cheating, and they're not going to want to play that game. They're not going to be part. They're not going to want to be part of that system. So a couple of interesting things for you guys to consider. Drop some comments below. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe and hit that bell button so you get notification of new videos I put up. I'll talk to you soon, and I gotta get a heavier jacket, man. I did not expect this April 1st snowstorm. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.